What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the recording. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. I have some great news, some excellent news to share with you, and that is that Bud Light is actually about to lose its #1 position in the United States beer market, and it's 110% because of all of you. That's right. It's because of the continued boycott, the continued drop in sales, as their stock is now completely plummeting. Numerous articles hit today saying America's national beer could soon be Mexican as Memorial Day weekend sales drop plunges Bud Light further into crisis. This is the future. This is it. This is a monumental win, and it's not over yet. Until they say uncle, the boycott continues. And I'm just so happy to report on this. America's national beer could soon be Mexican as Memorial Day weekend sales drop plunges Bud Light even further. I mean, this is insane how bad this is getting. Like in every conceivable way, Bud Light now risks losing the #1 spot in the United States as sales plunge 25.7% in the latest week. This is why you don't get woke, folks. This is it. This is why. By the way, just a real quick reminder, Father's Day gift boxes from Coffee Brand Coffee. You're all sick of hearing about them. Promo code DAD, save 10%. They've started shipping this week. Make sure you get one of our pre-built or your custom-built gift box for Dad today. Promo code DAD to save. From a company that refuses to quote-unquote get woke, because I never want to go broke. Bud Light, and it's my company in case you didn't know, Bud Light sales suffered the worst week ever, falling 25.7%, endangering its status as the #1 beer brand, according to the latest data provided to the Post on Tuesday. The plunge follows a 24.6% decline in the previous week, and the 6th straight week sales have been hit since Dylan Mulvaney promoted Bud Light on April 1st. The precipitous drop has narrowed the gap in sales between Bud Light and its nearest rival Modelo Especial, which saw its sales surge 9.2% for the week ending May 20th, according to Bump Williams Consulting. Now, I have to check something. The Modelo, who owns it? Is it owned by Anheuser-Busch? Dang it. It's owned by Anheuser-Busch. So I was going to say, everyone should just switch to Modelo so that Bud Light loses its #1 spot. But no, because then we're still supporting Anheuser-Busch. So stop drinking Modelo too, by the way. While Bud Light loses week after week, Modelo Especial gains week after week. And now Modelo outsells Bud Light on a national basis across all trade channels combined. Bump Williams, who runs consulting firm, told the Post. If this continues, Modelo will surpass Bud Light for the year, he added. Anheuser-Busch InBev owns both brands, but does not control Modelo in the United States, where it is owned by a New York-based conglomerate, Constellation Brands. Now, here's a tough one for the comment section. Is it worth investing our time in buying Modelo if it proves the point, if Bud Light now has to admit it is no longer the #1 beer? Or do you double boycott? I just feel like the headlines of it falling out of the #1 spot would probably be pretty spicy, pretty embarrassing for them as they've sat there for so long. But then we're still supporting Anheuser-Busch InBev, so there's that. This is a big achievement for Modelo, but it's short-term, said Ben Steinman, editor of Beer Marketers Insights. Constellation is closing the gap and has said it wants to be the #1 beer. Well, who doesn't? For the 4-week period that ended May 20th, Bud Light sales were down 24.3% compared with Modelo's 8% growth. That's a monumental decline, Williams told the Post. Modelo has surpassed Bud Light for the first time since it was launched in 1982. Bud Light sales have been in a free fall since Mulvaney released the photos of themselves swinging the beer in the bubble bath, swinging it. Bud Light also sent a tall boy with Dylan's image on it. The backlash has caused sales of Anheuser-Busch to dive. For the week ending May 20th, Budweiser plunged 11.2%, Michelob Ultra down 6.5%, Busch was off 5.2%, and Natty Ice was down 5%. Modelo hasn't been the only competitor to benefit from Bud Light's seismic miscalculation. Yuengling, which built itself as the oldest American brewery, has seen sales of Ying Yin Flight soar by a whopping 47.6%, and a lager spike by 32% over a 4-week period. That is insane. You know what's crazy? If it wasn't called Yuengling, it probably would already be number one. People just think, people probably just think, oh, Yuengling, it's not an American beer. It just doesn't sound American off the tongue, but it is. And I feel like, you see Team Red, White, and Blue. It says "Let's Go USA" on there. I mean, 50% spike is insane. Based in Pottsville, PA, the beer is distributed to just 25 states and operates just 3 breweries in Pennsylvania and Tampa, Florida. Yuengling is having a great moment with the constant growth of all the premium beers, Williams said. Coors Light, Miller Lite, and Pabst Blue Ribbon have all seen double-digit sales increase. Pabst? I wouldn't say that PBR is like on the same, is PBR a light beer? I mean, I drink a lot of PBR at concerts because the tall boys are $3, but I never really thought it was a light beer. It's always been a beer that you can count on to give you a wicked headache. Demand for Bud Light over the crucial Memorial Day weekend, the official kickoff for summer beer buying season, was lukewarm, with many store shelves still holding cases of the once mighty beer, Williams said after a spot check of local stores. That at least one store is trying to unload 24-pack of Bud Light for $3.49. I mean, this is just great. Now, if we look at the Budweiser stock, the Bud Light stock, it is down another 3% today. Over 5 days, it's down 8%. I mean, these are huge cliffs. These are huge cliffs to fall off of, and it's not stopping. I mean, if this is over the last month, it's down 17.87%. 20% drop. And if you go after 6 months, it's completely erased the gains that it had. It was at an all-time high, and it's now at an probably a multi-year low. I mean, this is over the this is at nearly a 5-year low. The all-time low was probably like what? $40.30. That's as bad as it's ever got. And at this rate, it will be there by the end of next month. I mean, it is a 1-year low for sure. It's the lowest. No, it isn't the lowest it's been in a year, because it's dropped down in the low $45 range. So it's about to come up on its 1-year low. But this is just awesome, for in all senses of the word. Bud Light is reeling. Their truck drivers are quitting. Now, I don't support getting after the truck drivers. These are just men and women who are trying to pay their bills and just get on with their life. I 100% don't support that. But Bud Light truck drivers are targeted, calling them gay beer salesmen, making these people want to quit their jobs. There's been reports of people quitting their jobs over it. It is so amazing. You see this in American craft beer. Bud Light beer pronounced sick going into Memorial Day holiday. Bud Light's decision to showcase, we already know how this happens. Sales of the U.S.'s number one beer were down 24%. It's not just a Bud Light issue. The whole Bud Light is sick. Bump Williams, founder of the consultancy, said of the U.S. top-selling beer, which raked in $5 billion in sales last year. It's now infected other healthy brands within the InBev portfolio. And I think that you should probably look at Modelo. If everyone's switching to Modelo thinking it's safe, it's not. It's also owned by InBev. This opinion piece by Rich Lowry is really good too, saying the Bud Light meltdown is good for America. Some corporations had to show how woke marketing could cost an iconic American brand dearly in terms of its image, its sales, and market capitalization. So it's through its special beer can produced for Dylan Mulvaney, Anheuser-Busch in effect volunteered for this duty. The CEO of General Motors didn't really say it in the 1950s. What's good for GM is good for the country. Still, to paraphrase a famous misquotation of the auto executive Charles Wilson, what's terrible for Bud Light sales is good for America. With every viral anti-Bud Light video and 12-pack moldering on the store shelves of the warehouse, the message is being sent to other corporations that gratuitous forays into culture war is risky. Target has directly learned the same lesson with its Pride apparel and removed some clothes and made associated displays less prominent. Coupled with ongoing contention over Disney, whose image has taken a big hit among Republicans, the flare-ups raise the prospect that we've entered a new era of conservative consumer power. Again, I don't really view this as a conservative versus liberal thing. I view this as, regular everyday people, who are sick of having stuff like this crammed in their face. There's no doubt the rise of social media has made it possible to spread the word quickly about controversies, and conservatives are newly attuned to how corporations can trespass against their values and interests. That said, the recent boycott successes are not necessarily replicatable. The Bud Light proved uniquely vulnerable. It's a brand that was all-American product, the go-to beer for barbecues, hunting trips, and ball games, as easily enjoyed and uncontroversial as a flyover on the 4th of July. The Dylan Mulvaney promotion was hilariously off-brand. Why should a beer company, especially an unpretentious mass-marketed beer company, be associated itself with a gay man who's decided he's a woman and prances around like a teenager? What is it about Dylan Mulvaney that says beer or middle America? Mulvaney made it worse by creating indelible imagery, dressing like Holly Golightly from Breakfast at Tiffany's in one video with a bunch of Bud Light and relaxing in a bathtub in another. What transpired is more than a boycott. Bud Light has become a national joke. Its signature red, white, and blue and white cans and bottles now stand for ineptitude and out-of-touch marketing. Picking up six-packs shows you aren't in on the joke. The advantage of Bud Light was that it was widely known and readily available. The problem is that its competitors were just as readily available. And it's great for this country. Now, I don't like how it can spiral a little bit. But for Bud Light, I say keep the pressure on. Instead of picking up a case of Bud Light, make sure you get your Father's Day gift box. Father's Day is only 2 weeks away. They've already started shipping. Get your Father's Day handle with promo code DAD to save 10%, and we'll talk to you again real soon.